Welcome back. I am Tyler here with my brother Ryan. Today we are going to be breaking down our Indianapolis Colts 3-round mock draft. But before we do that, be sure to like, subscribe, and also ring the bell to get notified whenever we release future Colts 3-round mock drafts, 7-round mock drafts, or any of our other Monday morning mock drafts that we will be releasing all the way up to the 2024 NFL Draft. Also, we're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of the Super Bowl. We're doing a mock draft for every single one of the 32 teams in the NFL. So we need just 10 or 15 subscribers per video to help reach that goal. So if this is your first time here, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Ryan, let's pull up the slides here. So breaking down what you're seeing first off is so we have the Colts pick in blue in the middle at pick 15. We have a couple of the teams picks before and then also a couple of teams picks after. We're also, if you look to the right, some other potential options that we feel the Colts might take in this selection here. So with that being said, we ended up going with Cooper DeJean here at the 15th pick for the Indianapolis Colts. The super athletic corner out of Iowa here. The cornerback probably is going to lead maybe into a little bit more nickel, but also safety. But dude's just an absolute freak athlete. I mean, he was the only reason, honestly, why Iowa was relevant. I would say last year in Big Ten competition. So, but so many different ways I feel the Colts could go to. I also looking at as well, Jersey Newton. That's another potential option that we put in there. I think he would be a phenomenal player as well, help out with that run defense, be that run stuffer, and just also an elite defensive tackle. So, Ryan, what are some of your thoughts on the Colts pick here and some other potential options that we could go get?
Yeah, I mean, one, I think that this pick depends solely on whether the fact that they re-sign Michael Pittman Jr. or not. If not, I think Brian Thomas Jr. would have been our pick here for them. But Cooper DeJean, I think you look at the weaknesses of this Colts team. Offensively, actually, I thought they performed really well, especially Anthony Richardson going down early in the season. They have some pretty good offensive weapons. Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, Michael Pittman Jr. is an unrestricted free agent. But then Mo Alley Cox at the tight end spot. I just think that they've done a really good job kind of rounding out around this offense, and this offensive line performed much better this year. On the defensive side of the ball, they got a pretty good pass rush. They weren't the best against the run, but then their secondary was just really young. They spent some picks on Juju Brents, Darius Rush last year, and they had moments, but all in all, it was just kind of inconsistent. And I think you throw Cooper DeJean into that mix. He's kind of a jack of all trades at the cornerback position. He can play safety. He can play the nickel. He can play the slot. I mean, shoot, you want him to be a box safety. He could probably do that as well. And then he can play outside corner. Just kind of played everywhere for this Iowa Hawkeyes defense. And I think he's going to be able to do that at the next level, at a really high level. And so I love that pick going out and getting a hopefully future Pro Bowl corner. I think at 15 would be awesome. I've actually seen some mocks that have Cooper DeJean as a top 10 pick. So to get him back here at 15, I think would be fantastic just for the Colts organization. And honestly, if he's not there, Jersey Newton, Kool-Aid McKinstry, I think would be two other great options for this defensive side of the ball as well.
Yeah. No, I agree completely. He's going to be interesting. Well, all the defensive players I think are going to be interesting on where they end up falling, because is it going to how great the offensive talent is? Our team's going to try and get their offensive talent in the first round, then defensive guys are going to start falling closer to the late first round, early second round. So, and I say that for Nate Wiggins, Dallas Turner, Jared Verse, because there's no guarantee really that they're going to be top 10 or even top 15 picks, just depending on how teams view them. So I think Cooper DeJean's another guy as well. It's like, how are teams going to view him? We view him as a super athletic guy, and I think the Colts are going to see that also for a team that just needs a lot of secondary help in general. So let's move on, though, now to the Colts' next pick here. Once again, focusing on the defensive side of the ball, but they do end up getting Chris Braswell at fun edge rusher coming out of Alabama here. They also could have gone Jonah Ellis if he was available. He was taking the pick before, but also I think this could be another potential spot here. Chris Jenkins could help with that run stuffing and that we had talked about earlier. Also a sneaky receiver spot as well. Even if they do sign Michael Pittman Jr., Ryan, I kind of want to throw this over to you. I still think Xavier Leggett would work great in this system. And I think then with the offensive mind of Shane Steichen and how he can utilize him. But Alec Pierce, I feel, hasn't really developed the way that everybody was hoping for. So I think that would be an interesting avenue to pursue. But here we ended up going with the edge rusher, continuing to try and hope and build on that defensive line.
Yeah. So I like Xavier Leggett. I do think if you do go that route, Alec Pierce is most likely on his way out of Indianapolis, or at least relegated to kind of a part-time role. And I think that would be another solid pick. He's a huge guy. I think he's, what is he, 6'7", like 233.
Xavier Leggett, he's not that big, but he's huge. But
is that Johnny? I might be thinking of Johnny Wilson.
Yeah, you're thinking of Johnny Wilson. But Xavier Leggett is like 220 or something like that. He is huge, if not even more.
He does play that outside role, but he's a really explosive athlete for somebody that size. And I do think that would be a good fit. Chris Braswell played next to Dallas Turner, so that definitely helped. But got a lot of sacks at Alabama, played in a very complex Nick Saban-led defense. And, just a really solid edge defender here. So let's kind of get into their last pick, and that is McKinley Jackson, a defensive tackle. He's a bigger guy. I believe he's about 315. He's going to kind of be a little bit more of a run stuffer. But as I said in the beginning, this Colts defense, the secondary and run defense were kind of the big pain points coming out of 2023. And I think so far they've done a good job of helping the secondary, helping the pass rush. Now it's time to go get your defensive tackle that's going to stand next to DeForest Buckner and really bring some runners down to the ground close to the line of scrimmage. Because to me, I think that is what he does. He's not going to get you a whole lot of pressure, and he can collapse the pocket from the top, but he's not an elite pass rushing defensive tackle by any means. And I really like this pick for that scheme, and it would really give DeForest Buckner some favorable matchups in the pass rush game to actually be the pocket collapser from the top of the pocket. So
yeah, because I think then too, by now you've been able to see like all three picks have a defense side of the ball and then two on the defensive line. I think that was kind of the area that really started to hurt the Colts. Like they had a good defense, but it was teams could just run the ball on them, and I feel like it wasn't as big of a pressure. And then when teams like wanted to throw, they had a very weak secondary, and so they had to rely on the pass rush to hopefully get to the quarterback and try and stymie them, or rely on DeForest Buckner. So I think beefing up this interior, also then getting another elite edge rusher, and then a lockdown. I don't say lockdown corner, but just a super athletic guy.
A very promising corner.
A very promising corner. And so who could move around in nickel to safety as well. And so I think then if we're just move on to the next one here and just the overall whole, I really do like the way that this draft shaped up. I was just even thinking too, maybe you take Jerson Newton at 15 because you can go get a corner later on, and or potentially also then too what it would look like if you had Xavier Leggett. But really thinking about it, maybe that might be the only pick I think I might change out Chris Braswell for Xavier Leggett. That might be the only one that I could potentially go and see. But in general, it's nothing against Chris Braswell. I just think we were focused so much on the defense. You go get a guy like Xavier Leggett, and then that offense then becomes monster explosive. Xavier Leggett runs a 4.3, 6'3", 227 pounds. Dude is an absolute monster. You pair him up then with Josh Downs and Michael Pittman Jr. Holy cow. So and that's the one thing as well. But that being said, though, too, Chris Braswell provides consistent pass rush on the edge. And then you bring in McKinley Jackson as well to get that defensive line depth. So a lot of different ways they can go here. I think the Colts are going to be primarily defensive focused with the looks of getting either a tight end, but also I would say just another weapon in the pass catching department.
Yeah. No, I do really like how this panned out. I do think if you add Xavier Leggett in there at pick 46, I think that would be a good fit. But I also think similar to the edge rusher, you're adding in another like it's kind of a luxury pick. You're adding in another body to an already decent room. And again, this is all barring whether or not they re-sign Michael Pittman Jr. or not. But they already have a decent rotation of edge rushers with Kwity Paye and who was the other guy?
Samson
Ebukam. And I know that one or two of those guys are free agents, but I do think adding Chris Braswell would, one, keep those guys fresher, but then also add another really solid edge rusher to that group. So let's go ahead and wrap up this 3-round mock draft here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on what you thought of the Indianapolis Colts 3-round mock draft. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you do differently? Other than that, we will see you guys next time.